Kylian Mbappe avoids easy Premier League decision after Liverpool admission. Liverpool transfer news amid Federico Chiesa calls and battle for Marc Guehi alternative. Malik Fofana speaks out on potential Liverpool move. There was interest. Liverpool makes final Marc Guehi decision as risky transfer plan emerges. Alexis Mac Allister admits he didn't really rate Liverpool teammate before Anfield move. Now let's hear the details. Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Also leave your comment below. Let's start. Liverpool were linked with signing Kylian Mbappe when he was a free agent after leaving PSG, but he signed for Real Madrid instead. Real Madrid and France forward Kylian Mbappe has refused to predict that Liverpool will win the Premier League next season despite admitting the strengths that Arne Slot's side have. The Reds are the only team with a 100% record in the top flight prior to the international break, and they have already underlined why they are considered to be, by many, the favourites to retain their crown. Slot's men underlined that favourites tag last weekend after beating last season's closest challengers Arsenal 1-0 at Anfield in a clash that perhaps won't live long in anyone's memory. Liverpool's recruitment is one of the reasons why so many have rushed to back them this campaign. Despite winning the Premier League in 2024-25, Slot has refused to let the club rest on its laurels with Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez and Florian Wirtz among the impressive list of new arrivals. Of course, the Reds won't be so brash as to presume they will coast to the title again. Arsenal, Manchester City and Chelsea are all being tipped to compete with Liverpool this campaign. However, it will raise eyebrows among some to discover that one of the world's top players is not backing the Reds to win the Premier League. Speaking to Bild, Mbappe was asked for his prediction for the Premier League this season, and his response will have taken many by surprise. Of course, Liverpool has to be mentioned first and foremost, as they're determined to win one title after another, the Frenchman explained. But I also have high hopes for Arsenal, because the core of the team has known each other for a long time, and that's a crucial factor in football. And Manchester City is always at the forefront anyway, with Pep Guardiola and Erling Haaland. After being pushed for an answer, Mbappe replied, "That's tough. Maybe Arsenal, maybe it will be their year. It would certainly be easier to say City or Liverpool. The Reds are not just aiming for domestic glory this season, the Champions League will also be high on their agenda." When quizzed about who he saw winning that competition, Mbappe's response was much more predictable and definitive. "I always say Real Madrid," he explained. "But there are many good teams in Europe, a lot. But there are many good teams in Europe, a lot. We saw that last year was great with the new Champions League format. This year will be even better. It will be interesting to see who prevails in the end." Liverpool return to Premier League action next Sunday when they visit Burnley. The Champions League then returns on September 17 as the Reds host Atletico Madrid. Liverpool transfer news amid Federico Chiesa calls and battle for Marc Guehi alternative. Liverpool transfer news as Federico Chiesa could still be on the move from Anfield before too long, while the Reds reportedly face a battle for an alternative to Marc Guehi. Liverpool fans will be eagerly counting down the days until the end of the international break as they wait to see their latest record signing in action. Having broken the Premier League's transfer record for the second time in the summer to land Alexander Isak on deadline day, the Reds have been made to wait to see their new striker make his debut, with the break coming at a frustrating time for all at Anfield. But even before their latest signing takes to the field for the first time, rumors are already abound about what business could be up next for the Reds, with claims there could even be an exit in the coming days. Federico Chiesa, Liverpool. Besiktas has made contact over a potential move for Federico Chiesa, according to Fabrizio Romano. Although the Premier League's transfer window is now closed, the Turkish window remains open until September 12, meaning there is still an option should Liverpool want to offload any of its players. Romano claims that Besiktas has looked to find out more about Chiesa's situation, although Liverpool is not prepared to let the Italian go out on loan. Negotiations are said to not be advanced, although the Turkish club is said to be prepared to invest money in its search for a new winger. Malik Fofana speaks out on potential Liverpool move. There was interest. Malik Fofana has opened up on a possible move to Liverpool this summer, revealing the Reds' interest with the winger focused on regular game time ahead of the World Cup. Malik Fofana revealed he rejected Liverpool this summer in favor of more regular game time ahead of the World Cup next year. The Reds remained linked with the Lyon winger throughout the summer, with the French club's financial struggles, which briefly saw the club demoted to League Two before the ruling was overturned, forcing it to consider cashing in on key players. With Luis Diaz joining Bayern Munich, Liverpool was expected to look for a replacement, but a move for Fofana never materialized. Everton was also reportedly monitoring Fofana after the 20-year-old impressed last season under Paulo Fonseca. The Belgium international told HBVL that he chose to prioritize regular playing time this summer, opting against a move to the Premier League for now. There was interest from those two clubs, Liverpool and Chelsea, but ultimately it wasn't concrete enough, said Fofana. I've thought about a transfer, but I think it's more important now that I play a lot, and that has to happen at Lyon because I still have progress to make. Of course, he has dreams of starting at the World Cup next summer, but I realize I still have a lot to prove. I've already made progress. I'm now more decisive and more involved in the game. Before the Reds signed Alexander Isak, Paul Joyce of The Times said that Arne Slot believes he has attacking options within his current squad, highlighting Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong as players who could feature further forward if needed. While the Liverpool head coach didn't directly reference Rio Ngumaha, the report states the 17-year-old sparkled in pre-season, with the club signaling a preference to develop his pathway rather than pursue Bradley Barcola from PSG or Fofana. Fofana is regarded as a player of immense potential, with former Genk U21 coach Emilio Ferrara once describing him as the greatest talent I ever trained. Since joining Lyon, the winger has registered 16 goals in 65 appearances. Should a move to Anfield materialize in the future, it would represent a dream come true for Fofana, his agent Bobo Fofana told Africa Foot earlier this year. The choice of heart would be Liverpool, Fofana said. He has the potential to enter the rotation, and above all, we would like to see him succeed African legends such as Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and El Hadji Diouf. Now, the choice of reason would be Newcastle, a well-structured club that could be a first step to gain experience before, perhaps, joining a club in the European top 5. The Belgian has made it clear that his development is his top priority rather than making his dream move. Turning down the Reds in favor of guaranteed playing time was therefore likely a difficult choice. Liverpool makes final Marc Guehi decision as risky transfer plan emerges. It's claimed Liverpool has made a final decision on a potential move in January for Crystal Palace's Marc Guehi after a deadline day deal collapsed at the last minute. Liverpool is not expected to make a move for Crystal Palace's Marc Guehi during the January transfer window. Guehi was denied a last-minute move to Liverpool on deadline day after Crystal Palace blocked the switch, reportedly following a threat from manager Oliver Glasner to quit if his captain was sold. Guehi's contract runs until next summer, meaning he could leave on a free transfer. Reports suggested that the Reds would meet with Guehi later this month and could revisit a move for the centre-back in January, but would face competition from other clubs, with the England international eligible to sign a pre-contract agreement with teams in Europe as soon as the window opens. According to Paul Joyce of The Times, Liverpool will not bid for Guehi in January and will now only sign the defender on a free transfer next summer. The report states that the Reds are adamant they will not enter the market in January for a player entering the final year of his contract who has no intention of agreeing to an extension. If Guehi remains determined to join Arne Slot's side, Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish could face the prospect of losing the player for free, a scenario he has previously described as a financial problem for the club. Parish reportedly discussed Guehi's situation with Liverpool sporting director Richard Hughes after the Community Shield clash in early August, during which he was informed that the Reds valued the defender at $47 million. If the club is to make a move for the 25-year-old in January, it is expected that Palace would want $34 million, $13 million less than what Liverpool was prepared to pay last week. Liverpool faces competition for Guehi's signature from Manchester City and other top European clubs. City's interest in the defender was first reported by the Daily Star 2 weeks ago. The Etihad club reportedly planned to pursue the defender in the summer transfer window only if central defenders, Manuel Akanji and Nathan Ake, left the club. Ultimately, only Akanji departed, joining Inter Milan on loan with an option to make the move permanent for $17.6 million. Sources close to City suggested there was little expectation that Guehi, 25, would leave Selhurst Park before the window closed. Meanwhile, European giants Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich are also reportedly monitoring Guehi, a reflection of both his talent and his contract situation. Alexis Mac Allister admits he didn't really rate Liverpool teammate before Anfield move. Alexis Mac Allister has been a Liverpool player for just over 2 years, but has already seen enough to change his opinion on one of his teammates. Alexis Mac Allister has admitted he didn't rate Alisson Becker amongst the world's best goalkeepers until joining him at Liverpool. The South American duo had previously been opponents at both club and international level before developing a strong relationship on Merseyside, and becoming two of the Reds' most reliable performers in the process. Mac Allister joined Liverpool in a $47 million transfer from Brighton during the summer of 2023, and has gone on to cement his spot in Jurgen Klopp and then Arne Slot's midfield. This arrived 5 years after Alisson's own move from AS Roma for what was then a world record sum for a goalkeeper. The 31-year-old has worked relentlessly to vindicate the faith the Reds placed in him by helping secure 2 Premier League titles, the UEFA Champions League, and several other major trophies during his time at the club. He also starred as Brazil lifted the 2019 Copa America trophy. However, despite these accomplishments, Mac Allister remained skeptical that he was watching a keeper performing at the elite level. "I tell him, when I was at Brighton, I didn't understand what the hype was all about. I didn't really rate you," the Argentine told ESPN. "Now, damn. I have to admit, you're the best. Well, okay, you, Dibu, Martinez, and Thibaut Courtois." Aspects of Liverpool's transfer business since Slot assumed control as manager have centered on putting in place the long-term replacement for the Reds' number 1 of 7 years. A $39 million deal completed in 2024 has seen Georgi Mamardashvili arrive from Valencia this summer, whilst Caoimhin Kelleher has moved to Brentford. Alisson's Liverpool deal expires next summer, though the club possesses an option to prolong it by another year until 2027. Speaking in June, he voiced his anticipation that an extension would be reached. "I've never been able to plan long-term. Obviously, now I have 1 year left on my contract and another year of club option, which they will probably exercise," he explained. Currently, no verdict has been reached, leaving him and his colleagues unsure about their collective future beyond 2026. Mac Allister noted that the goalkeeper still has time to honor a personal pledge. "He hasn't invited me to his house for a barbecue yet, so he has this season ahead to keep to his word," the Argentine midfielder remarked.